Hello, hello. Welcome to Sunday Stamping with Susan and Julie. I'm Julie Davison, and this is my mother, Susan LaCroix, and we are so happy that you are joining us today. We are on Zoom together because we have a very special episode for you. It's been a while since we've done one of these, Mom, and I'm so excited to be doing a Sunday stamp along where not only do we stamp with each other, but we also hopefully will be stamping with all of you at home. It is Sunday, June 2nd, and I cannot believe that it's June already.
I know. I know.
I'm so excited that we get to see each other later this month and stamp together. But
Yeah.
for now, we'll just have to get by with our our video stamping. How
I was mistaken because I think last week I said we hadn't had a stamp along since October, and I was wrong. It
oh,
was December for Christmas. We did a stamp along.
but that's still been a long time. It's been six
Yes.
months or
Almost
five,
a little over.
five full months.
Yeah.
Since we've done one. So we're overdue. We're overdue for a stamp along, and we hope that you're ready to stamp along with us. I am a little bit worried about time, so we're gonna we're gonna flip the camera over to the desk and get started so that we can make sure we get it all in. So let me do that. It's been a while since I've done this on Zoom. Stampin' Up just announced that starting June 5th, so in just a couple days, this week on Wednesday. That seems weird to start on a Wednesday, but whatever. On Wednesday, Stampin' Up is going to offer an extra 10% on stamp set and die bundles, plus 10% off the stamp and die cut machines, both the big one and the mini one and the boho blue mini one. So that's an awesome deal. Those are never on sale.
It's true.
I'm really excited about this extra 10% off because normally bundles are just 10% off. You get 10% off of stamps and dies together. And so an extra 10% off just means even more savings on all those amazing bundles. So this includes all the bundles from the new annual catalog. It includes all the bundles from the online exclusives. However, Mom and I were just talking about this earlier. It does not include the 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 pre-order online exclusives that demonstrators will be able to start ordering on the same day, June 5th. Those are all just the regular price, which is 10% off. So
Doggone it.
shucks, I know. I'm going to turn on the light here and show you what we are using today. We're in the 2024 to 2025 annual catalog, looking at the Mediterranean Bloom Suite. This one is so gorgeous. I was happy to get this bundle during the Onstage After Hours class, and so I've got some of those projects to share with you. And the designer paper was offered as a door prize, and so we had a team member, Michelle Grimble, who got this paper, and so she traded with us so that we could take it home. So I've been playing with this one for a little while. I love this beautiful paper. We've got the orange and lemons, the citrus that is so prominent in the Mediterranean. And then on the other side, these beautiful navy patterns that are almost like tile inspired. Of course, they're hand painted by Stampin' Up artists, and just always so gorgeous. I'm in awe of their talent in creating these papers. It's just so amazing to see that. This
I
is
did
a 12 by 12 paper.
Oh, sorry. I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say when we were in Italy along the Amalfi Coast, um, we went to one of our stops was oh gosh, volcano. Come on, Susan. Uh where
Pompeii.
Pompeii. And there was a lemonade vendor outside of the city of Pompeii.
Mm.
And these lemons, I swear to God, they were like small pumpkins. They were so big.
Oh,
I
oh my
had
gosh.
I had never seen lemons that big before in my life. It was phenomenal.
Well,
Anyway,
I just remember a lot of lemons on that trip. There was another roadside stand that we stopped at. Maybe it was the same excursion, or I think it might have been a different city. And everything was lemon, 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 lemon. It was
oh yeah,
so I always think of Italy when I think of the lemons, and
and limoncello.
yes. beautiful Mediterranean bloom designer paper is 12 by 12. I just cut it down so you can see it a little bit easier. And we've got a citrus bloom stamp set, which focuses more on the oranges. Unfortunately, we don't have any of the lemon imagery, but we've got some great line art image is plus the little blossoms and then kind of a tile sort of pattern. And then, hello, all the love. You're the best kind of person. And just checking in. The dies die cut the stamp images as well as some detail dies that die cut leaves and flowers. And then the big one back here is the leaf frame. And so this is actually 3 different dies. There is the shape that has some stitching on it, and that can fit along with the leaf die cut. So you can die cut them together to make a frame like I did on this card, or you can die cut separately and create a background piece like I did on this card. And then there's also a larger leaf die cut there. So all kinds of different ways that you can mix and match these dies to create some great cards. Well, it's no surprise that I was inspired by the catalog, as I often am. And so both these cards were cased from the catalog. Let me show that a little closer so you can see. I've got some pumpkin pie images stamped in the background. And then this one too, I had to fussy cut those lemons, but I did stamp and die cut the coordinating flowers. And that was inspired by the card there in the catalog. And then there was one more I made with a little flap. And I used that background shape and just folded it over. And then I love when they do this. We have dies that coordinate with the stamps, but also with the designer paper. And so one of these just dropped all my markers. Um, one of these this one here has the images that coordinate with both the dies. So the 3 and then also the single orange. The other item in this suite is the opal round assortments that have gold and white or clear and the navy blue. So pretty. All right, so one more thing. I got to show you the after hours projects. So this was the class we got to do it on stage. And I think we were talking about this last week. So the on-stage after hours class included a package of in-color cardstock and twine and then a bundle. And so all the cards that we made were focused on those in colors. So sort of a totally different color scheme than the Mediterranean Bloom designer paper. And all of these cards I just made exactly as they were here in the after hours book. And so I just wanted to show you those really quick. And I love that they reused the same like card designs and then did them each a little bit differently with all the bundles. Okay, so for today's project, this was inspired by one of those card layouts. Speaking of which, what page are those on? 22?
22. It's the one memorized.
Yeah. So our layout for today for the first part of the mystery stamping or stamp along was inspired by one of these layouts here on page 22. And so the measurements that you're going to use for this project are included in the video description if you haven't prepped already. You're going to have a card base. I'm using pumpkin pie. 3 pieces of designer paper that are 1 by 4 1/4. And then a piece of white or vanilla cardstock that's 2.5 by 3 1/4. And then I wrote either a stamped or die cut image to fit this space. So that can either be, bigger than this space or you can stamp on this space. And then also a 1 3/4 inch circle or shape for the greeting. And I'm looking at this and wondering if I cut too big of a circle. I'm going to double check that. While I'm double checking, Mom, let's flip over to your desktop so that you can show us the product that you are using for our stamp along.
All right.
Ooh.
So I haven't used this one yet. This is on pages 40 and 41. In the annual, it is Wildly Flowering. And this is so pretty. I had trouble choosing. Look at these colors. There's wild wheat, mossy meadow, misty moonlight, moody mauve, early espresso, and crumb cake. And I'm telling you, it's really hard. And I know you can't see it here, but in the background is some of this designer series paper, which I'll show you, is almost like a linen texture. It's not textured, but it looks like it might be. So that's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to give a real quick overview of what's in here. So we'll start with the stamp set. It is 8 cling stamps, some pretty script greetings, and some images of flowers and leaves, and kind of a little background design there. And then the dies, once again, the dies are making these sets, I'll tell you. This is Wildflower Designs. I want to say that there are 7, and there are 7. And so these frames, so you get a bunch of, there are these 3 different frames that work so well together, or separately if you want to use them. And then it die cuts out the flower images as well. So those are that. Oh, those are the dies. The designer series paper is 12 by 12, but I've cut it down to 6 by 6 just to show you. So you can see the moody mauve and the white and the early espresso. So pretty. And these little flowers. And this one is almost identical. This one has some of the blue in there. And then you flip it over and there's the wild wheat. And this might be a good one. I don't know if you can see it. Am I getting it up close enough that you can see, like, it looks like some like a linen background?
Oh, yeah, I do kind of see that.
Okay, well, here, this is crumb cake. This might show it better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, isn't that pretty? I love this. Should have used it. I love it so much. But I didn't. Just so pretty. So pretty. I just can't. Yeah. Okay. And that's not all that's in this suite. There's quite a bit more here, or a few other pieces, which if I can find them, that would be absolutely delightful. And what did I just do with them? There's right here. There's a Stampin' Cut and Emboss Dashing Designs. And then there is these trinkets. They're adhesive backed textured dots and kind of an antique gold. And you get different sizes of them. So that's what's in this suite. So Julie, that's what I'm using to follow along with you.
I can't wait to see how your card is going to turn out.
So
All
whenever
right,
you're
well,
ready.
yeah, let's get started with our stamping. So I'm going to use the image of the orange, and I did think about die cutting one, but I'm gonna color today. And so if you are planning to stamp on your focal image panel, then you'll want to do that now. And if you're going to stamp and die cut and layer on that, you can do that now as well. I'm actually going to do all of my stamping while I've got my ink out. So I'm going to stamp first um the orange, and then I'm also going to stamp the sentiment. And I chose Lemon Lolly for my 1 3/4 inch circle. And the sentiment, "You're the best kind of person," fits on there pretty perfectly. For the inside, I am going to do some of the little tile pattern, and I'm going to do that with some navy. So let me reach around and grab that. And I'm thinking that this pattern will kind of connect. Oh, it sort of does. It's a little wonky. I was thinking I could kind of fit it in there, and I think I just sort of made more of a mess than I intended to. Um, I'm gonna turn it over, and instead of going down the paper, I'm just gonna go across the paper and be a lot more simple with it there. Sometimes I overcomplicate. So the colors I'm using to color in the orange, I've picked some pumpkin pie, lemon lolly for the blossoms, and old olive for the leaves. I just got some brand new old olive Stampin' Blends because this is probably the color that I use the most when it comes to my Stampin' Blends, just because it goes with so many different things. And so I'm doing some light old olive, and then I'm going to add some darker color on the veins of the leaf. Now, I know it's hard if you're stamping along, you won't be able to leave a comment, but if you're not stamping along, then leave a comment and let us know what you think about the Mediterranean Bloom Suite. Is this one that's been on your wish list? It's such a good time with this sale coming up to get those bundles that you've had your eye on, because you get that extra discount in June starting on the 5th. What bundles are on your wish list, Mom, that you've been thinking about?
I haven't even looked yet. Just up there.
One of the ones I've been thinking about is that label one that comes with either the punch or the die.
Oh yeah.
And although I do think I'd lean more towards the punch, and the punch bundles are not on sale.
Oh, they're not.
Nope, it's just the stamp set and die bundles.
I didn't read if there were any exclusions.
Yeah.
I made a wrong assumption.
So you just want to make sure that you get your order in early, because sometimes really popular bundles may sell out before the promotion period, and they'll be restocked again. But if you have your heart set on one in particular, make sure that you order it early, and then you won't have to wait for it to come back in. Of course, you want to take advantage of that sale. There's one I've been watching. I think almost the only one that has had any inventory issues is that Seaside Wishes. That one has been so popular. It's the one that has this hybrid embossing folder for the sand dollar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, I need to get some new orange
Oh,
pumpkin pie markers. I'm gonna try to use the other end and start with the lighter orange or pumpkin pie. Why do I keep saying orange?
I don't know.
I'm super excited about these online exclusives that are starting. So, we've talked about online exclusives before, and these are released a couple times a year. Like every other month, we have new product being released. So, the online exclusives will be available in July, and demonstrators can pre order in June. So, the sneak peek that we have seen on the demonstrator website, there's a couple flyers that are up there. We don't have the full selection of items. We'll be able to view them when pre-order starts, but we haven't seen them yet. But definitely check out those flyers for a little sneak peek. We're going to see some Christmas stuff, which I'm excited about. A little Christmas in July.
Isn't there some Halloween too?
There is some Halloween. There's a new leaf set, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what else because we haven't seen it all. We've just gotten a few little peeks.
Yeah. Hmm.
Since that the next mini catalog doesn't start until September, it's kind of fun to get some of the fall stuff, especially a little bit early. I feel like my card is such a mess. Oh my gosh. I have a lot of very light spots over here.
All right. Let's see what I've got here.
I hate coloring with an audience. I just always,
I always feel like I'm wasting their time.
I feel impatient because I am. I'm going to use a little bit of light orange in the center. I know what you mean, though, about feeling like you're wasting people's time because I am not a coloring expert at all. And so I always think no one wants to watch me color.
Hmm.
How are you coming on your image? Have you?
I'm coming.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I'm kind of going in a different direction than I was originally thinking I was going to go.
Oh.
Don't ask me why. It happens to me frequently.
Sometimes that's a happy accident, though.
Yep. So we'll see. Oh, oh no, that's fine.
Okay. I am done coloring my image. Don't look too closely. Um, I might go back and add like a little wink of Stella to the flowers. I think that would be a nice.
Oh yeah. You know what? Since it's been back in stock, I've kind of forgotten about it.
I always tend to forget about Wink of Stella, but it's just such a perfect way to just add a little sparkle and just step up your project a little bit. I don't know how well you can see on camera a little bit.
Oh, that's a little crooked. Well, guess what? It's going to be crooked. It's a sample.
All right. So the hard part is the image. This card is pretty straightforward and simple. And so I'm gonna glue things together here. I'm gonna start with the inside and just add this. And technically my inside piece, I don't think that was included on my supply list. So I just added it. And you can always add an inside piece later. This is just 4 inches by 5 1/4. Just sort of a standard piece to go inside. And then on the front, you've got your designer paper strips. And I find that without getting out a ruler and being totally exact, it's easiest if you start in the middle and then work out. So I'm going to put adhesive on all of them. And for me, it's all the same pattern. But if you had a pattern that continued on, you'd want to make sure that you're doing the right one in the middle. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And when I'm putting these down, I'm not pushing down really hard. I'm just sort of setting it there so that I can pick it up and shove it one way or the other. And I think that looks pretty good. And so I'm not pushing down quite yet. I'm going to take my other pieces and then just setting them down. I'm going about 1/8 of an inch or so from maybe that's a 1/4 inch. I should get my ruler out and see what is a 1/4 inch. Oh, no, that's about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3. Or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I am kind of just placing them and scooting them. And then when I feel like I've got them just about right, then I am going to go in and push down and get that adhesive from the designer paper connecting to the cardstock. Evenly spaced 3 strips of designer paper on the card front. Mostly evenly spaced. I'm gonna take that centerpiece and use some Stampin' Dimensionals to add this to the card right in the center. And again, if you are just using this as a background piece and have die cuts, then you can add the die cuts to the front and add your square directly to the center of the card. And I left a little bit of room over here for my greeting. That's going to be that 1 3/4 inch circle. And you could leave the greeting off or use a different shape or size if you want to. the layout in the catalog actually doesn't have a circle or greeting there at all. I just added that because I felt like it needed something else going on. I've got a little bit of this silver and white organdy ribbon. So pretty and really versatile just to go with so many different things. So I just wanted a little something back here that wouldn't detract from the stamped image. So you can still see through it, which I love, but it's just a little something to anchor the sentiment, just a little something behind there. And I'm going to add that to the center. Just used a little bit of seal to do that. And then I'll add the circle on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going a little bit off center with the circle, or I mean off the side. And I'm just going to come back in and trim the ribbon. Almost done. Of course, we got to add some bling. I'm going to get out the coordinating gems from this suite, the Opal Round Assortment. And I'm going to tie that blue back in. I always talk about when I'm using colors on a card, I like to use them more than once. And so we've got blue designer paper in the background. So I'm going to tie the blue back in with the gems and do 3 of them. Maybe I should do 2 of them here. Is this? Oh, I didn't get the glue dot.
That just happened to me.
Oh, I usually try, my little tip is to like push down on the gem before I pick it up. And that you like, push down on it, and then that usually like, sort of secures it to the glue dot before I lift it up. So here's my finished card with the Mediterranean Blooms designer paper and the Citrus Blooms stamp set, and I colored.
You did.
I have some other samples that I wanted to show you with the same layout. So I shared this layout as a mystery stamping project with our Impeccable Stampers team group recently. And so I did it with one of the in colors. I did a monochromatic card. This is the same layout, just turned the other direction. As a horizontal layout or card instead. So your card could go either way. It could be vertical or horizontal. Of course, I couldn't make just one a peach pie card. I had to make a whole series with all the in colors. And I even used some of the sparkle gems there. And of course, I couldn't stop. I made a couple more cards using the Take to the Sky designer paper. And for these cards, I just featured a piece of the designer paper instead of stamping a focal image. So just another idea for a quick and easy card. This one uses boho blue for the card base and copper clay over here, and just really simple stamping on the sentiment. Flying by to say hi. Oh my goodness. I just love this layout. I love all of Stampin' Up's layouts, and I cannot wait to see how your card turned out, Mom. So let me flip the camera over, and I'm just going to replace it so we can see it nice and big. Ooh.
So I use the embossing folder from the wildly flowering wildly.
Wildly flowering, yeah.
So I did the card front of that, and then I went in the opposite direction. I originally was going to go this way, and I changed it at the 11th hour. So I've got my strips here. And I used early espresso cardstock to die cut the scallop frame out. And then basic white for this one, which I've got popped up on dimensionals. My thank you is crooked. And maybe I should angle the flowers a different way, but then I used some of the hammered or the textured metal dots for that. And then on the inside, I just took another strip of the paper.
Oh, I love it. So pretty.
So yeah, I'm kind of questioning my color choices now because it's real hard to differentiate the strips from the mauve
I
paper.
sort of like that it's subtle though, like it's not overwhelming with lots of different colors. Like
Yeah.
it makes the sentiment and the center focal piece really pop.
Okay. So that's my card that I made with your measurements.
I love it. Let's flip the camera around to our faces and we can show off both of our cards together. Oh, I love the way our cards turned out. They're so different, even using the same measurements. And I can't wait to see how all of your cards turned out at home. Please be sure to share the cards that you make for our Sunday stamp along in our Facebook group so that we can see what you've created. I feel so inspired, Mom, by your wildly flowering card. I can't wait to play some more with that suite. And that is such a good one. If you don't have that bundle yet, it's a great time to get it during this June sale that starts Wednesday, June 5th, 10% off
Yeah.
all stamp and die bundles.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had so much fun stamping together, but we're not done. We have another project to make. And so it's time to head over to Mom's channel. Click the link right in the center of the screen or in the video description to head over for part 2 of our Sunday stamp along. We've got another card to make and more inspiration coming your way.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.